max, and I'm hoping it's not breaking up the content right now because where I'm at is a very weak signal, and I notice when I try to share it back online, check 1 2, yeah, I'm still here. Because the last time I had a internet signal, when I shared it back out, it broke it up into sections. But my EQ lights is looking good, so I'm gonna get the ball rolling before something else happens. But yeah, I try to keep it brief and to the point, and I don't try to just be droning on and on and on. I just want to deliver the content and make it have a nice flow and keep it all cohesive and just have the material gel, and then you can refer to it at your leisure. I like to just keep a nice moderate pace. All right, but with no further ado, we're going to dive into this content. I got a little bit of commentary this evening, but before sliding into the content, we're going to just take a little brief pause because we had some tremendous losses this week in our world, particularly in the music world. So first, send condolences and, you know, send out life, love, and healing energy to the families of family, friends, and associates of Clarence Avant. And if you don't know who Clarence Avant was, his moniker that he got deemed, or people named him the godfather of black music. So essentially, he had the first ever all black record label. He was basically Quincy Jones' mentor, who he tried to, mold himself into his image, and everybody, all the moguls under Quincy Jones, that's where Quincy drew his inspiration to do what he does. He's been, he died at 92, so he lived a full, rich, productive life. He was affluent all through, the human rights movement and the civil rights movement within our community, giving our people opportunities. He also had his hands into, getting television shows started for us, depicting our people, movies, the few little television shows and movies that we had projecting us in a positive light. He, kind of was responsible for that. And so he was just kind of always this like hidden figure in Hollywood. Like basically he was the plug. That's who you would go to see in the early days. So we're going to give a brief moment of silence for Mr. Clarence Avant. All right, and our next person that we lost, tragically, is rapper Magoo. So, what was the brother's real government name? Let's punch that up right quick. Melvin Barcliffe. I did have it written down in the notes, but I just forgot to record them. But yeah, I definitely, was in the era of Magoo when he had his presence in hip hop. And contrary to all unpopular belief, he was not named after the fictional cartoon character Mr. Magoo. This was like his aunt's name, and he kind of just shortened it. He kind of just like, not to put no stigmas about brothers and like down south, but down south they kind of just mash their words together. But yeah, basically that's where his stage name came from, is his aunt. It wasn't based off the cartoon character. Magoo was a very talented MC. He got a lot of like blowback in the industry because people was trying to compare him to Q-Tip from a Tribe Called Quest because he sounded similar. He didn't rhyme similar. He sounded like he sounded like Q-Tip. He had this real like nasally delivery of his lyrics, but the actual content wasn't nothing similar to it. His delivery and cadences wasn't similar at all, but just his voice, the sound of his voice, he sounded like, Q-Tip. And that's why, the industry kind of didn't really ever give him his proper dues as an MC, because they was like trying to compare him to Q-Tip his whole career, which something he couldn't control. Like, especially if you know anything about microphones, because sometimes the microphone, when you record your voice, like you hear people talking, but the microphone will make you sound totally different. Like when you got a mic up to your mouth versus to like when you're just talking. Like, I noticed that myself listening to my podcast. Like, if you talk to me in real life, I sound totally different than how, the microphone is amplifying your voice. But anyway, with all that aside, he passed away, 50 years old, got in the game in the late 80s, did successfully pulled it off, became a rapper. Started off, met Timberland. They had a little group they formed early in the 80s. Then it was when they got their big break, when they got signed to, I believe it was Devontae of Jodeci. He had his own record label for a while called Swing Mob. And so while he was there, he met Missy Elliott. But Magoo and Timberland had already known each other from their hometown of Virginia. But once they got the Swing Mob, they met Genuine and Missy. And then later on, the late Aaliyah to their fold, and they formed a group called Super Friends. And so they stayed tight all throughout the industry, all throughout their lives. I think Magoo kind of fell back. I had heard something online that he was like into real estate,